morning, everyone. My name is Brian Alvarez, and today I'm representing the negative team. I believe that mandatory voting in the United States should not exist. Before I move on with my arguments, I'd like to define what mandatory voting means. According to Time articles, compulsory voting is a system in which people are forced to vote. If any eligible person fails to vote, he or she might be punished. The reason of why I disagree with the very idea of having mandatory in the country is because it could violate our civil liberties. It could be more anti-democratic for the country, and also it could violate our constitution. Um, as it is known, the country of the United States of America is known for its democracy, and by having mandatory voting, it would not make the country fully democracy. It would be more likely to be anti-democratic. According to Basel, it was stated that mandatory voting is a violation of our civil rights, just as denying a citizen the right to vote is a violation. Casting a vote is speech. It is showing support or opposition to a candidate or proposal. And making voting mandatory means voting is no longer a right, it's an obligation, it's forced speech. People cannot be forced to speak up. The right to speak is also the right not to speak. Just an example. People cannot be forced to pray. People cannot be forced not to pray. Exactly like that. Freedom of speech in the First Amendment, simply put, is protected as society. We value this claim and our right to it. Less often individuals claim their right not to speak. Individuals cannot be forced to speak, and this translates to the voting booths. In a free society, each individual ought to be free to decide whether to participate on election day. People have the power to choose if they want to participate or not, because by making them participate, it's violating our rights, definitely. Also, I disagree with the idea of having a mandatory voting in the country, because people will be more likely to vote, because if they do not vote, they will be punished, and they will not vote because they are using their freedom. According to Future article, it was stated that some skeptics worried that citizens would no longer vote for these instinct reasons, but instead vote out of fear of being punished. This is not only violating the Constitution or civil liberties or rights, or bringing anti-democracy to the country, but also it's bringing fear among people. They will no longer volunteer to vote, but they will be just dragged to vote because they will be scared of facing consequences, and those consequences will be punishment for not voting. I also disagree with the statement that my fellow Andrew Ortiz said, that we're underrepresented. According to the Washington Post, 43% of the population decided not to vote. So I believe that we're not underrepresented. People just choose not to be represented. People represent themselves by speaking up. They represent themselves by voting. They represent themselves by choosing their leader. If they're not voting, obviously they're not going to be represented. They're not going to depend on other people to be represented by themselves.